There are three airlines that matter in the United States. American is the biggest by passengers. Delta makes the most money. And United is the one almost nobody is paying attention to, which is strange. Because if you look at what United is actually building right now, the aircraft orders, the international routes, the premium cabin expansion, the hub strategy, every line on the chart points the same direction. United is on track to lead American aviation by the end of this decade. It hasn't won yet. Delta is still more profitable. American still carries more domestic passengers. Those are facts, not opinions. But the next 10 years are not about the present. They're about what each airline is building right now while no one's watching closely. And United has been building something the other two can't catch. This is the story of the airline that's been quietly setting itself up to take over while everyone was busy arguing about Delta versus American.
Start with the number that tells you something is happening. 800. That's roughly how many new aircraft United Airlines is taking delivery of between 2023 and 2032. That's the largest aircraft order in the history of American aviation, bigger than American Airlines' fleet plan, bigger than Delta's. The list price value runs above $50 billion. United owns the biggest order book of Boeing 787 Dreamliners in the world, 150 of them on firm order, 370 737 MAX aircraft on the way, 180 Airbus A321neos. Now compare that to what Delta is doing. Delta just ordered 60 new Dreamliners in 2025. United already had 150 of them on order years earlier. So while Delta is the most profitable U.S. airline today, United is buying the airplanes that will determine who dominates the next 10 years. And those aren't the same competition. That's the entire bet you need to understand.
Let me be honest about where United actually stands today, because the fact-checkers deserve respect. In 2023, Delta booked $63.4 billion in revenue and earned about $5 billion in pre-tax profit at a 9.2% operating margin. United booked $59.1 billion in revenue, pre-tax profit of $4.3 billion, operating margin around 8%. Delta wins on profitability. By every honest measure, it still does.
American Airlines, the third giant, actually flies more passengers than either, but they brought in $54.6 billion in revenue and walked away with a measly $111 million in net income last year. On top of that, they're carrying $36.5 billion in debt.
So, as of right now, the rankings look like this. Delta is the profit leader, American is the volume leader, United is the fast-growing challenger. The question this video answers is, what happens when the challenger has built a bigger plan than either of the leaders? The first piece of the United bet is the airplanes. In June 2021, United announced something called United Next, an order for 270 new aircraft, the largest order any U.S. airline had placed in a decade. That was just the start. In December 2022, they came back and ordered up to 200 more Boeing 787s, the largest single wide-body order in American commercial aviation history. Then, in October 2023, another 110 aircraft, then more after that. Today, the program covers about 800 deliveries through 2032. Why is this such a big deal? Two reasons. First, the new planes are way more efficient. Bigger, fuel-saving, lower cost per seat. United's average North American flight in 2019 carried only 104 seats. By 2027, they're targeting over 145. That's a 40% increase in seats per flight without adding a single flight. Second, the new interiors. Seat-back screens at every seat, Bluetooth audio, larger overhead bins, Starlink Wi-Fi. United has already retrofitted or delivered over 530 of these aircraft. By 2027, almost every plane in United's fleet will be the new product. When passengers compare a brand new United widebody to an older Delta or American aircraft, they're not comparing equal products. United is making sure of that. This is the kind of bet you can only make once. Delta and American can't suddenly order 800 airplanes. Boeing and Airbus are sold out for years. United got in early. They locked it in.
Buying airplanes is one thing. Putting them somewhere profitable is another. And this is where United's second advantage shows up, in a place American carriers have been losing to foreign airlines for 40 years. International flying. United now flies to 46 cities across the Atlantic. That's more than any airline in the world. Not just any American airline, any airline. For comparison, Delta flies to about 32 transatlantic cities. American flies to around 30. United has 14 more than either of them. 41 of United's international destinations are places no other American airline flies at all. Some of these are obvious: London, Paris, Tokyo. But the interesting ones are the secondary cities. Places like Mongolia's capital, Ulaanbaatar, Greenland's capital, Nuuk, the Faroe Islands, Madeira, Dakar in Senegal. These are routes nobody else flies because they're small markets. But United figured out something important. If you're the only US airline going somewhere, you set the price. In 2024, United quietly overtook Delta in transatlantic passenger count, first time in history. Delta had owned that lane for decades. United just took it. And it's not stopping. For summer 2026, United added 6 more international destinations, including Split in Croatia, Bari in Italy, Glasgow in Scotland, Reykjavik in Iceland, and a new Newark to Seoul flight. The chief of network strategy at United, Patrick Quayle, said it directly, quote, "United now flies to 46 cities across the Atlantic, more than any other airline, and is the clear flag carrier of the US." That phrase, flag carrier of the US, used to belong to Pan Am, then TWA, then nobody. United is claiming it back. Now the third piece, the expensive seats. For decades, Delta was Delta's home turf. The Delta One suite became the gold standard. Premium economy became Delta's profit machine. In 2025, United quietly outgrew Delta in premium revenue. United's premium revenue rose 11% on the year. They flew 27.4 million premium cabin passengers, a record. Then in May, United unveiled something called the Elevated Interior for its new 787-9s, headlined by Polaris Studio, 8 enclosed Business Plus suites with sliding privacy doors, 27-inch 4K screens, a Cetra caviar service, real champagne. Each elevated 787 has 99 premium seats out of about 254 total. Roughly 40% of the plane is premium cabin. That's the highest premium density of any US carrier widebody. The first flights start in 2026, San Francisco to Singapore and San Francisco to London. By 2027, United expects about 30 of these elevated 787s in service. This is United loading up on the most profitable seats in the most profitable cabins on the most profitable routes, exactly where Delta has been the king. Now, to be fair, Delta still wins on monetizing the premium cabin overall. Delta's Premium Plus Loyalty Plus Cargo revenue hit 60% of total revenue in 2025. United doesn't disclose the same breakdown, but it's almost certainly behind. But the gap is closing. Fast. Now the geography. United runs 7 hubs in the United States: Newark, Chicago, Denver, Houston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Washington Dulles. The single most valuable one is Newark. United is the dominant airline there. Roughly 2/3 of all flights at the airport are United. There is no other major US airport where one airline owns the field this completely. Newark is the New York metro area. Manhattan business travel feeds directly into United. When a banker flies from Wall Street to London, United is the natural choice. The FAA capped Newark operations in 2025 after years of air traffic control problems. Counterintuitively, this helped United. Fewer flights at a constrained airport means higher fares, more reliability, fewer cancellations. Newark's on-time performance actually improved. And United is doubling down. 36 new gates being added at Newark, 22 new international gates at Houston, 14 new international gates at Washington Dulles. This is what fortress hubs look like in real time. While American is consolidating and Delta is defending its position, United is expanding physical capacity in the cities where it already dominates. On May 2, 2026, at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, Spirit Airlines shut down. The ultra-low-cost carrier that had been a thorn in every major airline's side for 30 years just stopped flying. 2 bankruptcies in 18 months, 17,000 jobs gone. JetBlue is struggling. Frontier is slowing down. Southwest has rolled back its customer-friendly policies and is bleeding loyalty. The entire ultra-low-cost model is collapsing. When discount carriers leave the market, the legacy airlines, United, Delta, American, pick up the customers and the routes. United said publicly that 14,000 stranded Spirit passengers booked United on the first day alone. Here's what makes United different in this moment. United is the only legacy carrier growing aggressively at both ends of the market at the same time. Premium revenue up double digits, but basic economy revenue also up 20% in 2024, another 7% in 2025. United is fighting for the budget traveler the discount carriers left behind, while at the same time monetizing the premium business traveler. Delta has chosen they go premium. American has chosen they go basic plus connecting traffic. United is doing both. That dual strategy is rare. It's also a structural advantage that takes a decade of fleet and route planning to actually execute. And one more piece, the man making the calls. Scott Kirby has been CEO of United since 2020. Before that, he spent 30 years rising through America West, US Airways, and American. He was actually president of American before getting fired in 2016. United hired him as president that same year. By 2020, he was running the whole airline. He took over at the worst possible moment. May 2020, pandemic in full swing, US airline industry on government life support. 5 years later, United is the biggest airline order in US history, the most international cities, the strongest growth trajectory. In April 2026, Kirby actually approached American about a merger. American rejected it. Kirby ended the pursuit publicly and said, quote, "Our mission to build the greatest airline in the history of aviation at United is well underway." That's not a quote from an airline that thinks it's losing. That's a quote from an airline that thinks it's winning and would like to win faster.
Let me give you the honest version, because the dominance isn't done yet. There are real reasons it might not happen. United's biggest weakness is its credit card. Delta makes about $8 billion a year from its American Express partnership. United makes about $3 billion from its Chase partnership. That $5 billion gap is real money, and United can't close it overnight. Delta still wins on customer satisfaction. The Points Guy ranked Delta #1 US airline for the 7th straight year. United was still second, but still second. And United is more exposed to fuel prices than its competitors. When the Iran conflict spiked fuel costs in 2026, United had to cut its earnings guidance harder than Delta or American. So this isn't a victory lap, it's a track that United is leading on in the middle of a long race. But the structural pieces are in place. The 800 airplanes, the 46 international cities, the premium cabin build-out, the Newark fortress, the Spirit collapse, the dual strategy. Here's where the bet lands. Wall Street analysts are already pricing this in. One major investment bank modeled United's earnings per share reaching about $17 by 2027. Delta's was around $7 in 2025. If United delivers, the airline that today trades at a discount to Delta becomes the more valuable airline in the industry. The story of the next decade of American aviation is not Delta defending. It's not American struggling. It's United quietly building everything you need to lead while the other two argue about who's already the leader. The biggest fleet bet in US history, the biggest international network, the fastest growing premium revenue, the most dominant hub, the only carrier playing both ends of the market, and a CEO who got fired from one airline and is now running another that may end up bigger than the one that fired him. Delta still makes more money today. American still carries more passengers today, but the next decade of American aviation belongs to United Airlines, if they can execute. And right now, the only question is whether anything stops them.